Hey guys, Devamitra one more time. Today I'm going to talk about something that is about SQL. Okay, the questions about the top 10 questions or top 15 questions that which can be asked in an interview about SQL database. Okay, so right now I'm going to give you a proper information about it. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and you can see the proper questions and the answers about this matter. Okay. So, SQL interview questions and the answers at first. The following are the most popular and useful questions SQL interview questions and answers for fresher and experienced candidates. These questions are created specifically to familiarize you with the types of questions you might encounter during your SQL interview. According to our experience, good interviewers rarely plan to ask any specific topic during the interview. Instead, questioning usually begins with a basic understanding of the subject, and based on your responses, further discussion happens. So the first question will be very obviously, what is SQL? So right now we are going to discuss about it. SQL stands for the structured query language that we all know. It is the standard language used to maintain the relational database and perform many different data manipulation operations on the data. SQL was initially invented in 1970. It is a database language used for database creation, deletion, fetching and modifying rows, etc. Sometimes it is pronounced as SQL. We can also use it to handle organized data comprised of entities, variables, and relations between different entities of the data. When SQL appeared, SQL first appeared in 1974. It is one of the most used language for maintaining the relational database in 1986. SQL became the standard of the American National Standards Institute ANSI and ISO International Organization of Standardization in 1987. What are the uses of SQL? SQL is responsible for maintaining the relational data and the data structure present in the database. Some of the common uses are given below. Okay, these are the things, the common uses of database SQL. To execute queries against a database, to retrieve data from a database, to insert records in a database, to delete records from a database, to create new databases, to create new tables in a database, to create views in a database, to perform complex questions on the database. Does SQL support programming language features? SQL refers to the standard query language. Therefore, it is true that SQL is a language but doesn't actually support the programming language. It is not a common language that doesn't have a loop, conditional statement, and logical operations. It cannot be used for anything other than data manipulation. It is a command language to perform database operations. The primary purpose of SQL is to retrieve, manipulate, update, delete, perform complex operations like joins on the data present in the database. So what are the subsets of SQL? The following are the four significant subsets of SQL. Okay. Data definition language, DDL. It defines the data structure that consists of commands like create, alter, drop, etc. Data manipulation language, DML. It is used to manipulate existing data in the database. The commands in the category are select, update, insert, etc. Data control language, DCL. It controls access to the data stored in the database. The commands in this category inside grant and revoke. Transaction control language, TCL. It is used to deal with the transaction operations in the database. The commands in the category are commit, rollback, set, transaction, save point, etc. So what are the purpose of DDL language? DDL stands for data definition language. It is a subset of database that defines the data structure of the database when the database is created. For example, we can use the DDL commands to add, remove, or modify tables. It is consist of the following commands: create, alter, and delete database objects such as schema, tables, indexes, views, sequence, etc. You can see in that example. Okay. What is the purpose of DML language? Data manipulation language makes the user able to retrieve and manipulate data in a rational database. The DML commands can only perform read-only operations on data. We can perform the data following operations using DDL language. First is insert data into the database through the insert command. Retrieve data from the database through the select command. Update data in the database through the update command. Delete data from the database through the delete command. As you can see in that example. What is the purpose of DCL language? Data control language allows users to control access and permission management to the database. It is the subject of a database which decides that what part of the database should be accessed by which user at what point of the time. It includes two commands, grant and revoke. Grant, what is grant? It enables system administrators to assign privileges and roles to the specific user account to perform specific tasks on the database. What is revoke? It enables system administrators to revoke privileges and roles from the user account so that they cannot use the previously assigned permission on the database. As you can see in the example. What are the tables and the fields in the database? A table is a set of organized data in the form of rows and columns. It enables users to store and display records in the structured format. It is similar to worksheets in the spreadsheet application. Here, rows refer to the tuples representing the simple data item, and columns are the attribute of the data items present in a particular row. Columns can be categorized as vertical and rows are horizontal. Fields are the components to provide the structure for the table. It stores the same category of data in the same data type. A table contains a fixed number of columns but can have any number of rows known as the record. It is also called a column in the table of a database. It represents the attribute or characteristic of the entity in the record. For an example, you can see table, the student. Okay, the field is student, roll number, student name, date of birth, branch, etc. So the 10th question is, what is the primary key? A primary key is a field of the combination of fields that uniquely identify each record in the table. It is one of a special kind of unique key. If the column contains a primary key, it cannot be null or empty. A table can have duplicate columns, but it cannot have more than one primary key. It always stores unique values in a column. For example, the roll number can be treated as the primary key for a student in the university or college. So you can see in the example that 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, these are the names of the students. We can define a primary key into a student table as follows. The 11th question is, what is a foreign key? The foreign key is used to link one or more tables together. It is also known as the referencing key. A foreign key is specified as a key that is related to the primary key of another table. It means a foreign key field is one table refers to the primary key field of the other table. It identifies each row of another table uniquely that maintains the referential integrity. The primary key foreign key relationship is a very crucial relationship as it maintains the ACRD properties of the database sometimes. It also prevents actions that would destroy links between the child and parent tables. We can define a foreign key into a table as follows. Constraint name, foreign key name. Okay, references. What is a unique key? A unique key is a single combination of fields that ensure all values stored in the column will be unique. It means a column cannot store duplicate values. This key provides uniqueness for the column or set of columns. For example, the email addresses and roll numbers of students table should be unique. It can accept a null value, but only one null value per column. It ensures the integrity of the column or group or columns to store different values in a table. The 13th question is, what is the difference between a primary key and a unique key? The primary key and unique key both are essential constraints of a SQL. The main difference among them is that the primary key identifies each record in the table. In constant, the unique key prevents duplicate entries in a column except for a null value. The following comparison chart explains it more clearly. So as we can see in this comparison chart that primary key uh, and unique key, what is the difference between both of them? The primary key act as a unique identifier for each record in the table. The unique key is also a unique identifier for record when the primary key is not present in the table. We cannot store null values in the primary key column. We can store null value in the unique key column, but only one null is allowed. We cannot change or delete the primary key column values. We can modify the unique key column value. The 14th question is, what is database? A database is an organized collection of data that is structured into tables, rows, columns, and indexes. It helps the user to find the relevant information frequently. It is an electronic system that makes data access, data manipulation, data retrieval, data storing, and data management very easy. Almost every organization uses the database for storing the data due to its easily accessible and high operational ease. The database provides perfect access to data and lets us perform recurrent tasks. The following are the common features of a database. Manage large amount of data. Accurate, easy to update, security, data integrity, easy to research data. What is meant by DBMS? DBMS stands for the Database Management System. It is a software program that primarily functions as an interface between the database and the end user. It provides us the power such as managing the data, the database engine, and the database schema to facilitate the organization and manipulation of data using a simple query in almost no time. It is like a file manager that manages data in a database rather than saving it in file systems. Without the database management system, it would be far more difficult for the users to access the database data. The following are the components of our DBMS: software, data, procedures, database language, query processor, database manager, database engine, reporting. The 16th question is, what are the different types of database management systems? The database management systems can be categorized into several types. Some of the important lists are given below. Hierarchical database, okay, network database, that is IDMS, relational database, that is RDBMS, object-oriented database, document databases, graph databases, ER model database, non-SQL database. So what is RDBMS? RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management System. It is a database management system based on a relational model. It facilitates you to manipulate the data stored in the table by using relational operations. RDBMS stores the data into the collection of tables and links those tables using the relational operations easily whenever required. Example of relational database management system are Microsoft Access, MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle Database, etc. What is normalization in a database? Normalization is used to minimize redundancy and dependency by organizing fields and tables of a database. There are some rules of database normalization, which is commonly known as normal form, and they are: first, normal form; second, normal form; third, normal form; basic COD, normal form. Using these steps, the redundancy, anomalies, inconsistency of the data in the database can be removed. What is the primary use of normalization? Normalization is mainly used to add, delete, or modify a field that can be made in a single table. The primary use of normalization is to remove redundancy and remove the insert, delete, and update. Distractions normalization breaks the table into small partitions and then links them using different relationships to avoid the chances or redundancy. What are the disadvantages of non-performing database normalization? The major disadvantages are the occurrence of redundant terms in the database causes the waste of space in the disk. Due to redundant terms, inconsistency may also occur. If any change is made in the data of one table but not made in the same data of another table, inconsistency will occur. This inconsistency will lead to the maintenance problem and affects the ACID properties as well. What is inconsistent dependency? Inconsistent dependency refers to the difficulty to getting relevant data due to a missing or broken path to the data. It leads users to search the data in the wrong table, resulting in an error or as an output. What is denormalization in a database? Denormalization is a technique used by database administrators to optimize the efficiency of their database infrastructure. The denormalization concept is based on normalization, which is defined as arranging a database into tables correctly for a particular purpose. This method allows us to add redundant data into a normalized database to alleviate issues with database queries that merge data from several tables into a single table. It adds redundant terms into the tables to avoid complex joins and many other complex operations. Denormalization doesn't mean that normalization will not be done. It is an optimization strategy that takes place after the normalization process. What are the different types of SQL operators? Operators are the special keywords or special characters reserved for performing particular operations. They are also used in SQL queries. We can primarily use these operators within the where clause of SQL commands. It's a part of the command to filter database on the specified condition. The SQL operators can be categorized into the following types: that arithmetic operators, logical operators, comparison operators, bitwise operators, compound operators, and string operators. So what is arithmetic operators? Those operators are used to perform mathematical operations on numerical data. The categories of these operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, remainder modules. Logical operators. The operators evaluate the expressions and return their results in true or false. The operators include all, and, any, is, null, exists, between, in, like, not, or unique. Comparison operators. These operators are used to perform comparisons of two values and check whether they are the same or not. It includes equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not less than, not greater than. Bitwise operators. It is used to do bit manipulations between two expressions of integer type. It first performs conversion of integers into binary bits and the applied operators such as and, symbol, or not, etc. Compound operators. These operators perform operations on a variable before setting the variable's result to the operation's result. It includes add equals, subtract equals, multiply imply equals, divide equals, modulo equals. Okay. So string operators. These operators are primarily used to perform concatenation and pattern matching of strings. It includes string concatenation, assignment, will cut, characters matches, character not to match, wildcard match one character. 24th question is, what is a view in SQL? A view is a database object that has no values. It is a virtual table that contains a subset of data within a table. It looks like an actual table containing rows and columns, but it takes less space between It is not present physically. It is operated similarly to the base table but does not contain any data of its own. Its name is always unique, and view can have data from one or more tables. If any changes occur in the underlying tables, the same changes reflected in the views also. The primary use of a view is to implement the security mechanism. It is the searchable object where we can use a query to search the view as we use for the table. It only shows the data returned by the query that was declared when the view was created. We can create a view by using the following syntax. What is an index in SQL? An index is a disk structure associated with a table or view that speeds up row retrieval. It reduces the cost of the query because the query's high cost will lead to fall in the performance. It is used to uh, increase the performance and allow faster retrieval of records from the table. Indexing reduces the number of data pages we need to visit to find a particular database. It is also has a unique value, meaning that the index cannot be duplicated. An index creates an entry for each value, which makes it faster to retrieve data. For example, suppose we have a book which carries the details of the countries. If you want to find out information about India, why will you go through every page of that book? You can directly go to the index. Then from the index, you can go to the particular page where all the information about India is given. So 26, the question is, what are the different types of indexes in SQL? SQL indicates indexes are nothing more than the technique of minimizing the query's cost. The higher the query's cost, the worse the query performance. The following are the different types of indexes supported in SQL. That is unique index, clustered index, non-clustered index, bitmap index, normal index, uh, composite index, B-tree index, and functional based index. So today in my session, I have talked about 26 questions about SQL that can be asked in any interview. So guys, kindly be prepared for by seeing this session and get that knowledge about SQL, and by gaining the proper knowledge, be a proper professional person. And in our YouTube channel, there are so many videos that are going, and you can go and visit our YouTube channel and you can get that knowledge about all those things. So this is for today's session. Okay, kindly subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon and comment below. So bye for now.